Hey guys, let's get more news from Dallas Cowboys, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Troy Aikman refused to schedule vacation because he thought the Cowboys were making a deep playoff run. Troy Aikman loves his Dallas Cowboys. Who can blame him, considering he spent his entire 12-year NFL career there as the three-time Super Bowl winning quarterback of the franchise? But he may love them a little too much, as the Monday Night Football announcer cost himself a vacation, refusing to schedule it because he thought the team would advance to their first NFC Championship game since 1996. Speaking at an event in Dallas, Aikman said that he had left his schedule open for this weekend, as he had assumed that the Cowboys would be playing in the NFC title game, and didn't want to miss it. Pretty shocked, Aikman said when asked about the end of the Cowboys' run. My season, as a commentator, ended last weekend, with the divisional round. I'm free this weekend. I really anticipated that Dallas would be playing in the championship game. Figured it would be in San Francisco. So I was planning on going to the game. Didn't book a vacation after my season. That's, obviously, not what happened, as the Cowboys had another humiliating early playoff exit. They fell behind the Green Bay Packers 27-0 in the first half of their NFC Wild Card Round playoff game, ultimately losing 48-32 with some garbage time points. This is surely getting old for Cowboys fans, who, frankly, have gone too long without playoff success. Dallas has won just 5 playoff games since 1996, despite having plenty of good teams in that time frame. Right now, they've got a pretty loaded roster, with stars everywhere. But, once again, the team fell short in the playoffs. They failed to reach the NFC Championship game, despite a 12-5 regular season record for the third straight season. Owner Jerry Jones is bringing back head coach Mike McCarthy next season, after many thought the team would fire him. But, it's probably a Super Bowl trip or bust for this Cowboys core and coaching staff. I'm sure that Troy Aikman would much rather be in Cabo than wherever he is this week. Report, Cowboys already plan to restructure contracts of Zach Martin and Trevon Diggs. The second week of the offseason is winding down for the Dallas Cowboys, and the talk about contracts is all over the place. Discussions centering around Dak Prescott and his contractual situation are the subject of the hour. To this point, there have already been multiple pieces written by people on the beat discussing how the Cowboys do not have to extend Dak Prescott this offseason. Our own Brandon Laurie discussed that idea here, in the name of creating salary cap relief. They can choose to restructure him if that strikes their fancy. Ultimately, the Cowboys are going to have to do something with Dak Prescott's deal, whether it winds up being a restructure or extension. Not to be too dramatic or anything, but whatever choice they make will significantly shape the overall offseason. But there are other places where the Cowboys will find some money as well. ESPN's Todd Archer discussed the Dak Prescott situation as well, and he astutely laid out the options that we know to be the ones staring the Cowboys in the face. Restructure or extend. Doing nothing is not a probable option. In discussing the subject though, Archer laid out some other details concerning the Cowboys' finances, and specifically said that they already plan to restructure the deals for both Zach Martin and Trevon Diggs. The Cowboys already plan to restructure the contracts of All-Pro guard Zach Martin and cornerback Trevon Diggs, who is coming back from a torn ACL, which could net them about $20 million in cap space. They can restructure the deal of right tackle Terrence Steele, too. They can designate wide receiver Michael Gallup a post-June 1 cut and gain $9.5 million, although they would not add that space until June. They can sign All-Pro receiver CeeDee Lamb to an extension that would actually lower his $17.99 million cap figure and make him the highest-paid receiver in the game. The cap is not a myth, but there are ways to work around the cap and push dollars into the future. We all know that a Dak decision is incredibly important, but getting this also laid out is equally valuable. At present time, over the cap has Dallas near $20 million in the red in terms of salary cap space, so any kind of flexibility is welcome. The Martin and Diggs restructures seem like they will get Dallas to ground zero, so to speak. Nothing is locked into place, but Archer is incredibly trustworthy and knowledgeable on financial situations, so these all seem like things to bet on happening, including the Steele restructure and Michael Gallup departure. These are hardly radical ideas to be fair, but they do seem like an initial path that Dallas could take towards achieving cap space to play around with. As he also noted, the team can additionally create $18M in space if they choose to go the restructure path with Dak Prescott. What will the Cowboys use this for? Conventional wisdom says nothing super fun or shiny, but modern logic suggests that it would behoove them to go all in, forgive the dramatic expression, on the 2024 season. Perhaps they really are at least considering that right now. Cowboys named betting favorites to land Bills 3-time Pro Bowler. Since the end of the 2023 season, the Dallas Cowboys have been linked to moves for high-profile wide receivers to complement CeeDee Lamb. And when it comes to Buffalo Bills wide receiver Stefon Diggs, no team has been more connected to a move than Dallas. Of course, that is, in part, due to Diggs' relationship with brother and Cowboys CB Trevon Diggs. But perceived issues in Buffalo this past season have increased speculation, to the point where bookmakers are offering bets on where the 30-year-old will play next. As those odds have opened, Bovada has labeled the Cowboys as the favorite to sign Diggs, should he join a new team. The book has Dallas listed at plus 200 odds, while NFC East rival New York Giants are second at plus 400. It is really nothing new in the Diggs saga. Dallas will likely be linked to Stefon Diggs as long as Trevon is on the Cowboys roster. That being said, adding a receiver of his caliber is definitely worth considering. If he really wants out of Buffalo, Dallas could be in an advantageous position. The Bills don't have much bargaining power outside of the contract itself, and Diggs isn't getting any younger. After 3 consecutive Pro Bowl seasons, it's safe to say 2023 was a disappointment for Diggs. Besides the fact that Buffalo fell short in the playoffs, his connection with Bills QB Josh Allen just wasn't great. According to PFR, Diggs caught 107 receptions for 1183 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. That is still an exceptional season in the NFL, but it was a serious step down from his 2022 season. The former Maryland Terrapin went for 1,429 yards and 11 TDs on 108 catches last season. From a potential suitor's perspective, his drop's the red flag. Some of Diggs' dip can be attributed to Allen's career-high 18 interceptions, but Diggs dropped 8 passes for the second consecutive season. On 160 targets, that's not a bad rate, but his ineffectiveness in the Bills' final game doesn't help. Diggs caught 3 passes for 21 yards against the Kansas City Chiefs, but had a huge drop downfield. It's clear there is some disconnect in Buffalo, but how much it can be attributed to Diggs remains to be seen. Part of the reason there is so much speculation around the Diggs and the Cowboys is Trevon's social media activity. Both brothers are outspoken individuals, but Trevon being sidelined with injuries has seemingly given him more time to weigh in. Of all his posts and comments about Stefon joining Dallas, his post from November 13 is arguably the most incendiary. After the Bills' 24-22 loss to the Denver Broncos, Trevon took to X to comment on his brother's status. And you fan, what do you think of the Stefon Diggs situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.